Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jorish Fashion Academy, where we coach you and give you the right information on how to make wonderful outfit and make your outfit look luxurious. Now we want to face the buyers on this neckline, and we are using the piping method. First of all, you go about measuring the neck circumference you have on the outfit. This is a dashiki outfit, and here we're having about 20 inches. Since we're having about 20 inches, so what we need in the bias is going to be 20 or and above. So we're going to be doing something like 24 inches in making our bias. Before that, we'll put our fabric on the decks and make sure you give it a very good ironing. Then you fold diagonally. To fold diagonally, you look at the English edge. Thereafter, you do like as I'm doing, just make sure it gives you this L shape. You're folding diagonally. You find that that place is very, very elastical. It's stretchy. It stretches a lot, more than any other position. You see, this place is not as stretchy as when I put it really diagonal. When you put it that diagonally, it gives you good elastic nature, and that is a part that is good for bias making. Then you measure what you need. I'm using about 24 since our neck circumference was 20. I'm using about 24 so that I'll have excess to trim off. Then I iron to just have the crease so that while drawing the line, it will look very, very perfect. I'm using my pencil instead of the chalk because this is a white fabric. Using the chalk is quite really inconspicuous. So I use pencil and I'll use it very faint on it. I draw the lines. I'm using about 1/4 inch. I will make sure I roll a line that will be very straight also because we want the bias to be perfect. I roll a straight line across like so. Then I will go to the next extent. The next thing to do is to cut off what you have rolled. Cut it off. While cutting it off, make sure you don't have sharp edges. Very, very important. Cut it off neatly, like as you can see me do. You cut off the excess fabric you have at the edges, which are not really straight. You cut them off. At the other part too, you also cut it off. You can see how the fabric is. You see, it's bouncing and it's stretchy. It's stretchy. Then what we will do next is to start folding this region. We'll fold about half an inch from one region, half of an inch from one region. Then you iron very meticulously. Iron very meticulously. Please, while making this bias, take your time to make it. You don't need to be in a hurry because this is one thing that has to do with detailing in your outfit. If your bias is not well positioned or if it's not well made, it will make the whole outfit, it doesn't matter how good the outfit is, it will make them look mess. So make sure you take your time to make your bias. So after ironing this half inch, you have the excess at the other side. So what you do is to fold the excess you're having in this other side. Just fold it to kiss the other half inch. That's what you will do. Then you fold again. But before that, let's iron to make it fold to kiss the other part of the half inch we have folded before. Then you iron very carefully. You take your time to do it like I said earlier on. You iron very well. Then the next thing to do is to come with your fete. Fete. This fete, or you can call it hemming gum, is used to hold down the fabric in position so that when you are making your seam round about the neck, it will remain in good shape. So you open these edges you have seen here, you open it. It's wide enough to take the fete. So you put the fete inside of it. Put it inside of it. Then you cut off the excess fete. What you do next is to iron properly. Give it a very good ironing. You will ensure that the fete melts in between this fabric. When you do so, you have gotten at least 50% of the work you're supposed to do in this bias. I'm putting double fete because the bias is a wide one, so I want every region, every corner of this bias to have this touch of fete. So that's why I'm putting double bias. So if you're making a bias that is less than, that is about 1 inch, you don't need double, you just put single fet. But I'm putting double to ensure that the fet touches every corner of the bias. Then I'll put fabric on it to iron. Why I'm putting fabric on it is to ensure that my iron is not stained with fet. I'm ironing on top of this bias. So I keep shifting the fabric like so and give it a very good ironing. When you are done ironing this part, what I will do next is to start folding this bias you're seeing. We'll fold it. You see, you're folding along that line that you folded it initially. You folded half an inch and you folded the other one to kiss it. So that center line there, that is what you're folding. And when you're done folding it, there's something you observe. Let me show this to you. You observe that one part of the bias, you see, is higher. That is wider than the other parts. So this part that is wider is a part that will be beneath the neck of the fabric of your outfit, while the other part that is narrower will be on top. That's what you see on top of the fabric. So what you do now, you begin to iron to give it a curve shape that will give you a similar appearance of a neck. That is giving you the circumference of the neck. So you begin to iron. Please take your time to do this. You will iron the first time, it will not give you the nice result. You iron again, it might not give you the nice result. You keep ironing you go about 4 to 5 times, keep ironing around. You see that it keeps giving you what you want. You also use a steam iron. You can also use water to also help it. Felt is something that melts. So when you put water, it melts even more and even gives it that round appearance you're seeing. So you begin to iron. You can use your clapper. If you have one, begin to cool as you iron. You see, it gives you this circumference shape, this round shape. That is what we need. This is a perfect bias. You can see it how it is. It is in similitude of the circumference of a neck. So what we will do is to go to the machine and continue from where we have stopped. You can see how nice it is. So let's go there. If I were to be making split at the center of this, I would start from this point, but since I'm using zipper at the other edge, I'll be starting from this other end down roundabout to this other end, as you can see. So let's go to the machine and continue from here. Please, if you have watched to this point and you have not subscribed, what is holding you? It is quite unfair. If you have watched to this point, please do wait to subscribe. It's in a way to say thank you for this tutorial. So let's go to the machine and continue from where we have stopped. You see, I have to open the point I made a seam on the shoulder region so that I can start doing my piping. So you see, this wider part is beneath and the part that is narrow is on top. So we are going to fix it like this. You fix it. Make sure the fabric kisses the edge of that folded region of the bias. It kisses it. And we are going to be making a seam we call close seaming. Close seaming is a seam that you make at the very edge, at the very tip of whatever you're making. So we're making close seam at this other end so that it can hold on to the excess fabric we have beneath it, the wider part of the fabric. So to achieve that, we'll make sure this smaller part is on top and the wider part is beneath it. So let's go there. Then you fix it very properly. Make sure it's kissing the edge, as I said earlier on, the edge of the fabric. Place it in your machine and you begin to work. Let's see how it will look like. Make sure it kisses the edge, just as I said earlier on. You begin to make your seam. Do the seam the way I'm doing it. You don't need to rush to make your seam because you need your thread line to be very, very okay. You need a perfect seam. You need your seam to be very precise. This has to do with detailing of your work. So you begin to seam carefully. If you can do it with speed, why not? Do it with speed, but make sure it comes out well. So our goal is to have a nice result. So take your time to do it carefully. You don't need to rush. Make sure your seam is okay. Make sure the bias is well positioned. This piping method is one thing that gives your fabric a good look. So make sure you take your time, do it very well, and impress your customer, and also keep yourself also impressed. Take your time, begin to sew. Please do wait to subscribe to my channel. You can share this video to anyone you know that needs it. You can drop your comment in the comment section what other video you want me to drop next. I have a lot of videos I can relate with you. If you ask, that video might come out first. Any video you want me to drop next, please do well to place in the comment section, and I will swing it to action when I see your comment. Ensure your fabric kisses the edge of the bias to make sure it comes out very fine and uneven, because if you don't do that, you will have an uneven bias. In other words, the end of the first one will not tally with the other end. Then you will now have difficulty in aligning the two edges together. And when you have difficulty like that, it makes the work look stressed. It makes the work look imperfect. So when you make sure the bias is kissing the edge of the fabric, the work comes out so very fine and so very perfect. No part will be longer than the other one. In other words, when you want to make your zipper, you find out it will be really blending in that area of the zipper region. So make sure you do that very well. And when you are making your bias, make sure you curve the bias. This is what you are seeing me do. Don't keep it straight. Curve the bias in consonant with the edge of the fabric that is curved also. Make sure it takes that same curve while you are making your seam. It will make the bias come out so very fine and so very round, in similitude of the circumference of a neck. So, you cut off the thread. Let's see what we have gotten. Wow. You see? This is quite laudable. It's really very fantastic. Going through this method with care and effort, the result is quite impressive. So I will do something again. I will make another seam at the top of the neck. Please do wait to subscribe to my channel. Do wait to subscribe to my channel. If you have watched this far, please also do wait to drop your comments. So I will also make a seam on the top of this bias. Just watch the way I'm making it. This is just to add a touch of class or style to it. So it helps it to be even really firmer whenever it's been washed. It keeps it in that position. That's why I'm making all these things to just make our outfit look very laudable. You take your time, begin to make your seam very well. Place your hand very well and make sure it's going very nice. Make sure your line is also precise. You can see I'm doing it slowly but steadily. Wow. You can see the end result. This is a beautiful danjiki with a good piping. You can see the thread line, see how perfect and how flat it is. Very perfect. You can see the other line. I don't know if you're seeing the thread so very perfect and so very flat round about the neckline. Please subscribe to my channel, watch videos I upload, click on the notification bell whenever I upload wonderful videos like this. Be the first to be notified. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.